Have you ever wondered why heartbreak feels bigger than just your own? Why some wounds ache deeper, their roots almost ancient, and sometimes even before you know the family story, you can feel the unfinished business passed down? Today, I want to unlock something personal, something raw, a story about broken bonds, tireless hope, and the complicated inheritance of ancestral trauma. Maybe as you listen, you'll find echoes of your own family in mine. Within months of my birth, I lost both my parents, not to illness, not to death, but to something I wouldn't understand for years. Heartbreak and hope tangled together. My father left. My mother, trying to stitch her life back together, left me in the care of my grandparents so she could search for the love she'd lost, believing, I suppose, in second chances. I was just a baby. By the time my parents came back to fetch me 2 years later, the cord that tethered us, the invisible bond, had frayed. I didn't recognize them. That early rupture set the pattern for my life's earliest memories, a feeling of longing for something familiar but also foreign. It took me decades to realize that my story didn't start with me. I think it actually began long before. It was just waiting to be named. Recently, I dug into my family's past and learned things I wish I'd known when I felt like an outsider, even in my own family. My father, it turns out, was sent away to boarding school as a child. He was placed there by his own young mother, my grandmother, out of desperation. She'd married at 14, had my father at 16, and had already survived her own early tragedy, her mother dying when she was still a child herself. Her ex-husband, my father's father, became violent. So in an act of protection, she sent her boy away. But for a child, even the greatest love can feel like abandonment when it means being left behind. Years later, she returned with a new husband and brought my father home, but by then, how do you mend the cord that's already been cut? The patterns in my family trauma, loss, searching, and separation, weren't isolated events. I saw this same story reappear when my father, still basically a child himself, got his girlfriend pregnant in high school. He dropped out to provide for his new family, and still the relationship broke apart. It hurt him, and he tried again with my mother, and again the pattern repeated. It's so common for these cycles to feel inevitable, like fate stitched into our DNA. But what if fate is really just repetition until someone decides to change course? So for a long time, I thought my story was just heartbreak, bad luck. But the more I asked questions, the more curiosity I showed about my elders, their unspoken stories, their losses, their desperate choices, the more I understood the pain I carried wasn't only mine. It was centuries old, passed down from mother to son, from son to daughter. I was born into joy and heartbreak simultaneously. That's a hard thing to carry as a child, but it's even harder when nobody talks about it. Naming the pattern was the first liberation. It gave me a choice, and as a hypnotherapist, I've learned this truth is anything but rare. I've listened to so many stories that, while unique, hold the same threads of sadness and survival, love and loss. What has struck me over and over is how often my clients experience a profound realization after a session. They begin to see how their parents and even their grandparents' lives echo through their own patterns, behaviors, and pain. And most importantly, not to pass it on to any children we might have, or simply not to pass it forward in the world around us. So, did I break the cycle? Maybe. Maybe by deciding not to have children, I made a conscious crack in the pattern, choosing not to hand down the ache. Maybe that's not the end of the story, though. Maybe healing starts simply by being curious and honest. If you're listening to this, maybe you recognize parts of your own story. Maybe you sense invisible strings tugging at your life, shaping your choices, your fears, your hopes. The hardest thing and the most freeing is to ask, where does this come from? Whose heartbreak am I carrying? And why do I want to keep carrying it? That's why right now I invite you to pause with me. If it's safe, close your eyes. Take a breath. Let's spend a few moments together, not just talking about ancestral healing, but doing it. Feel your body wherever you are. Let your breath slow down, deepening with each inhale, each exhale. Imagine a gentle light, warm and golden, flowing down over your head, through your chest, into your belly, all the way down to your toes. This light is soft, comforting. It holds no judgment. Picture in your mind a long line of ancestors behind you. Your parents, your grandparents, and all those you may not ever know by name. Some are smiling, some are sad, some are simply watching. Imagine the struggles they carried, the heartbreak, the hope, the courage, the loss. See it, but let it stay outside of your body. You are the witness, only witnessing. Now quietly say, with love, I honor your story. With love, I choose to heal. Feel the golden light swirl through you, and as you exhale, picture that light gently shining back through the line, touching your father, his mother, her mother, and beyond. This is your healing. This is for them too. Allow silence to hold you here for a few moments. When you're ready, bring your awareness back to your breath, back into your body. Move your fingers and toes. And remember, when you choose healing, you choose it for everyone who came before and everyone who might come after. If this story or short meditation resonated with you, I encourage you to get curious about your own patterns. Ask questions. Listen deeply to your elders if you can, or to your own inner wisdom. If you feel ready to explore more deeply, I've created a full guided meditation designed to help you heal ancestral trauma, and I invite you to experience it at your own pace. I'm Anastasia Emmons, and you've been listening to Mind Unlocked. Thank you for holding space with me today. If you found something here worth sharing, please leave a comment, reach out, or pass this episode forward. The more of us doing this work, the less alone we all become. Until next time, be gentle with yourself, and may healing find you wherever you are.